This is a video on kind of going down the rabbit hole with an 8-string of Michael Keller's. First thing I like to do is a disclaimer. I am not a great musician. I usually use the guitar only to accompany my voice. I'm also not a luthier or a musical theorist, so take this for what it is. Just want to introduce you to an 8-string acoustic, which is not that easy to find. Why would I buy this? Well, first of all, I saw it on Reverb, and it was Michael Keller. I had a Michael Keller. He passed away several years ago, but he was a master luthier. He really was good, and so that immediately got my attention. Also, the koa was insane. Maybe not insane, but it was pretty cool. And I love koa, so it kind of made me want it even more. Plus the shock value. I have double neck guitars. On the acoustic guitar forum, my handle on there is a double neck. When you go and take a double neck acoustic, people look at you. So there is some shock value to it, which intrigued me. 8-string are pretty rare, really. It's almost dominated by the electric market. If you look on YouTube's, there are a lot of really kind of heavy metal 8-string guitarists doing crazy things, tapping them, and these last strings really roar on an 8-string. Obviously not me, but that's where most of you'll see the 8-strings. Also, there are some classical 8-strings from some very master players, superb players, and they use all 8 strings, which is neat to see. You can look those up on YouTube as well. The only I think current production acoustic 8-string is from company Agile, and it's rather an inexpensive $500, $600 guitar, so it's not quite in this class. It wouldn't interest me really, just because of that. Ibanez had one, but they discontinued it, and it was not extremely expensive either. What do you have with an 8-string? Probably the most interesting thing is, well, not the most interesting thing, but is scale length. When you go to adding those last 2 bass strings, scale length becomes very important, because you need length to have them ring out or not flop. And you'll see all the electrics have 27, at least 27 inch scale length on the lower end, and they'll usually have fan frets. That's one easy way to get that, and some of these are pretty extreme fan frets. That's really on some of the acoustics as well. You won't see that, interesting enough, you won't see it on the classicals. Well, not all the classicals. Quite a few of the classicals had 25.5 inch scale lengths. The nylon strings tend to be able to go down and not have issues like the steel string, or these bronze strings. Don't know why, but I guess the luthiers out there would know. Anyway, and what I found, scaling, or what they normally would do on an 8-string, if you want it to be a normal guitar that would be able to play scales, is the low string is F sharp, and the 7th string is B. That is why you need that long scale length. This is 25.5 inches. It will not do that. I actually, when I bought it, I had a week trial, and I got some electric light strings. I could only find electric sets, and that last string wouldn't even fit in the notch. It was so heavy. So what I had to do was say, okay, um, what was Michael doing? I assume he made this custom for someone, or what were they trying to do? And I think the tell on this is, look where the markers on the frets are. The markers are set up as a 6-string, and I think that's the real tell. I think this was really meant to be a predominantly 6-string guitar with some added bass notes. Actually, that helps me because I don't have the expertise to to play an 8-string like those classical players or whatever. So what I tried to do, and when I got it, the strings were really old, and they didn't seem to. I don't think necessarily were thick enough to do what Michael intended. I could tell that from looking at the nut groove, and that gave me the tell of really what he was trying to do. And what I decided to do was to make the 7th string a D, like open D, because it's very useful. There's so many D chords. We use D so often that having that extra bass is kind of cool. The last, I used an A. I went to an A, kind of followed the D, then the A, down. And that seemed to work. Gave me another variation on an A chord to pick up a low A for different songs. This is a 68. I put a 70 on it. I think I may go back to a 70, I'm not sure. But that fit in the groove perfectly. So I think that's what he was trying to do. I also tuned this down a half step. I assume a lot of tension, and I do that on 12 strings. I tune them down a half step to kind of relieve some of the tension, and I did that on this. Also, as you get older, sometimes those Neil Young songs, it's nice to have that half step down. So anyway, what else? Well, anyway, yeah, why do this? And I've had a ball with this, to be honest. Why? It gets you out. I played 6-string all my life, and it's fun. This gets you out of a comfort zone, and sometimes that is kind of cool, to be honest. When I first picked this up, it took me an hour just to kind of get, my gosh, what is going on? Because I'm so used to wrapping my thumb around. Took me a week to get kind of, it's natural then to hit. I can start to have muscle memory to hit these bass strings at the right time. Had it for about 2 weeks now, maybe. And I've used it to make some very different kind of arrangements for some songs I normally play on the 6, which is cool. One thing nice about the Keller that made it really worth getting this one is it's set up perfectly, and you've got this many strings. Man, that is essential because you got a lot of stuff going on. Also, his neck is perfectly really distanced all the way up here the same. So you have that, even if you're up here, you still have the same neck width or depth, which is nice. Yeah. Anyway, this has a Engelmann top koa. Beautifully made. He was a contemporary of James Olson, and they lived very close to each other. And he would sometimes use some of Jim's. Jim did a lot of machining, actually made machines for some of the wood processing, and he went up and sometimes used them. You can see some of the, maybe this looks like kind of an Olson neck, but look at the beauty of I don't know if you can really see it, but the sculpt there is just so nice. He was really good, and it's been a treat to own. What I like to do next is kind of stop this, and I'm going to play some songs, not whole songs, just like bridges and choruses, using some different variations that I've found to use with these extra strings, just to give you a feel for it. And I'm going to piece those in because I'll probably screw them up a number of times, so that gives me a chance to edit and put in a decent one. So I'll be back. Well, back again. I looked, and it was actually been a month I've had this guitar, so time flies. And as I was telling on the previous take, that I really feel this is an 8-string for the mortal player, the amateur. You're not doing crazy scales because of the strings that really can't, on this model, can't go low enough to give you a scale that would follow the scale of the other 6 strings. And that's okay for me because I'm not going to be that kind of player anyway. Give me feedback if you could. That's what I'm doing this. Possible tunings. There's some, I'm sure, I'm going to post this on Acoustic Guitar Player and forum. And there's a lot of people there that know a lot more than I do. Most of them probably. Different tunings, different strings possible. Whatever. Happy to get any input I can. I did change the last string to a 70. That seems to hold well. What you're finding with these, and this isn't going as low as a lot of the 8 strings, that you're starting to reach the limit of what a guitar really can do, and that string becomes pretty crucial. What I did was I can get single strings from strings by mail, and I could get these last 2, which were larger, just on a single string, which was nice. So it was like $2.50. And I just put a regular set of light gauge 6 strings. And again, I tuned this down a half step, so reduce the strain and also strain on my voice. You can also baritone guitars will have the last strings be very close to what you need here, so that's another option. But then you're not really using the other 5 string or other 4 or 5 strings. I was online or I was looking on YouTube, and there's an electric player that was more melodic that had an 8-string electric guitar, and he was demonstrating triads, and I had started doing that. It was kind of natural to do it. He was doing triads. He was really quite good and knew all the theory, and was telling all these different what the names of these triads were. Not there. I just do ones that sound good. But one thing that adding bass and doing a triad really kind of fills it out, and I'm going to do that in some of the songs. But if I do a D, kind of using those bass does really kind of fill it. With the A, kind of makes that bass ring more, which is kind of cool. Just start to use those triads, and it's kind of cool. Anyway, I'm going to do some just songs, not whole songs, as I said. I'm just going to do pieces of songs, and I'll probably end up splicing them in because I'll screw them up and have to edit as they go. But this will give you some ideas of, what I've been doing with it. So. Day by day, day by day, oh dear Lord,
love thee more dearly, follow thee more nearly, day by day. Give me love, give me love, give me peace on earth, give me light, give me life, keep me free from birth now, give me hope, help me cope with this heavy load, trying to touch and reach you with heart and soul. My Lord, please take hold of my hand. This is Norwegian wood. I go up a little bit on it. I kind of added that just to experiment. Don't know if I'll keep it or not, but gives you some ideas. I once had a girl, or should I say, she once had me. She showed me her room. Isn't it good? Norwegian wood. She asked me to stay and she told me to sit anywhere. So I looked around and I noticed there wasn't a chair. When I awoke, I was alone. This bird had flown. Not the greatest, but get the idea. It's a James Taylor song. Kind of appropriate because Michael Keller introduced James Olsen to cedarwood, and I think that became a little bit of James's guitar. So, take to the highway, don't you lend me your name. Your way and my way seem to be one and the same. But Mama don't understand it. She wants to know where I've been. I have to be some sort of natural born fool to wanna pass that way again. But I could feel